Okay. So the first one, the accompanying tables define the functions f and g. So first of all, the top is your x, and the bottom says f of x, so f of x is your y. So it says, what is g of f of 3? So where do I have to start? F. So f of 3 is 5. So then I go to g. G of 5 is 8. Number 2, what is the value of x? So if you subtract the 3, or the 2, what do you get on this side, Clayton? If I subtract the 2, what do I get on the other side? You get a 3. And what is the third? How do I get rid of the third? Cube it. So is 3 to the third power 9? It's 27. Then you subtract the 3. So x is 12. Okay, how many of you got that? We're good there? Yes? All right. So for number 3, if f of x is the cubic, so first of all, the cubic looks like this. That's the cubic. So it's transformed. First of all, what are the transformations here? 4 to the left and 3 up. Oh, I said left and drew right. There we go. Thank you. So we go to the left because it's a liar, and then we go up 3. So what if there was a negative in front? It reflects over the x-axis. And that's going to make a difference, right? Because it's going to be multiple choice. And so you got to pick the right one. So outside means it reflects over the x. The negative on the inside of the x would reflect over the y. But this is on the outside, so it would reflect over the x. So what would I do with number 4? I have to square both sides. So when I multiply, I get x squared minus x plus 1. What do I do next? Subtract the 4x and add the 7. So when I factor, I have 8 and negative 6. So negative 4, negative 2. So I get x minus 4, x minus 2. So I have x equals 4 and 2. Am I done? You have to check this one. And if you don't check this one on the test on Wednesday, sometimes one of them is not a solution. And you're going to get it wrong if you don't check. So if I put the 4 in here, 4 times 4 is 16 minus 7 is 9. What's the square root of 9? So 4 minus 1 is, so this one checks. What about 2? So 8 minus 7 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is, so this time they both checked. But I'm telling you, on the test on Wednesday, if you don't check these, there are 2 of them that one of them is not a solution. So when I simplify this, I have y to the 1/2, and then on bottom I have y, and it's y to the 1, correct? But I had to have common denominators to subtract, so I make my 1 2 over 2. So when I subtract, I get y to the 1/2 minus 2 over 2, which is y to the negative 1/2. So first of all, can I have a negative exponent? So what does the negative exponent tell me? Where does that go? So I have to move it to the bottom. So I get y to the 1/2. And what does 1/2 mean? Would it be the square root? Yeah, so you could write it like that also. Well, it's multiple choice. So if this one isn't here, this one will be. Okay, this says, what do I have to do for this one? I have to find what? The range of what? So the f to the negative 1, that's the inverse, right? So how do I find the inverse? Switch the x and the y. So I have x equals so how do I get rid of the square root? So I'm going to square both sides. And then what? So it's a minus 10, so I'm going to add 10 to the other side. All right, it's a positive, and now it's a minus. You guys are so picky. All right, so then once I do that, how do I get rid of the 5? Divide. So here's what I get. I have x squared over 5 minus 2 equals y. So it wants the range. So first of all, what is the x squared? What's that going to graph? What's the shape of anything with a squared? It's the parabola, right? It's not what you just drew. It's the U, the thing we spent the whole first semester doing. So if it's the parabola, what does the minus 2 do to the parabola? It shifts it down 2, correct? So what would the range be for this parabola? Negative 2 to infinity. So the graph of y equals the cube root of x is shown below. So there's the cube root. Which of the following is the graph? So I'll just give you a hint. First of all, can we have a minus x on the inside? What does it mean if it's a negative x on the inside? It's reflected over the y-axis. But to do this, watch, you have to do this. You have to factor out the negative sign here because that changes this, doesn't it? So which way does that really shift? The plus 4 is really, and if you don't factor out the negative, you're going to get that one wrong. So first of all, it's a flip across the y-axis. So this has to go this way and this has to go this way, right? It changes. So this is going to go this way and this has to go this way. But I have to flip this, not positive 4, but I have to go negative 4. So I know that what I'm looking for has to look something like that at negative 4. What? So you have two choices that go through negative 4. I have A and B. So which one would it be? Why would it be A? Because the 2 in front, the point wouldn't be 1, 1. It has to be A. All right.